and welcome back to Lake House Vlogs. So for today's video I thought that I would give you a homeschool room tour. So we live here in Western Australia. We are a family of 6 and we live in a very tiny 3x1 bedroom brick house. And so when we bought this house, I think my oldest was only 5 years old and Emily, my second, she was just a newborn baby. And at the time, we had just recently returned from being doing missions work in Cambodia for a year, and we came home and we had sold everything to go and be self-funded for Cambodia for a year. And we'd come home and my husband wasn't very long in a job, and I didn't think that we would be able to get a house or even a loan at all. And so I just am super thankful that we were able to get a loan and secure this house. And so even though it's tiny and we haven't finished renovating it, I am so super thankful to the Lord just for the provision of this home. So when we bought the home, it was the case of the worst house on the street. It was terrible. We couldn't even live in the home when we first bought it. We had to gut the whole thing and renovate the whole thing before we could actually move into it. So we did that. We gutted it, which means we ripped out all the blinds, we ripped out all the curtains, all the light fixtures, the fans, everything went, and we started with a clean slate. And we renovated our home for us to move in. And to be honest, the renovations aren't finished. Of course, it's absolutely livable. We've been here for a few years, but we still have a little bit more work to do on our little fixer-upper. So, as I said, it is a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home, and we are a family of 6. So at the time we just had 2 kids when we bought the house, and then the 2 little boys joined our family, and so we decided to build onto our house to make it a little bit bigger. So what was our lounge room, we actually converted into the little boys' bedroom, so they share a room and they've got quite a big bedroom. And then we built onto the side of our house and we built almost like a great room. It's a really long room, almost the length of our house, and that is our new living room down one end, and then down the other end is our homeschool space. And my clever husband, he's absolutely amazing. I call him a jack of all trades. He just knows how to do everything. He actually built the room himself with the help from his dad and my stepdad and some of our friends. They actually designed and constructed the whole thing themselves, and it's amazing. We absolutely love that room, and we spend 99% of our time in that room. And we just absolutely love it. So enough talking, and let me give you the grand tour. This is the lounge room end of our wonderful room, and as you can see along here we have a window here, and we have a sliding door there and another window here, and that goes into the rest of our house. But this was the outside of our house, so all along there was actually some hideous brown brick, so we've covered over that with white boards, and that looks so much better now. So down this end is our lounge room, and we have our TV down there. So for homeschool, we will use this area to watch documentaries together. We will snuggle up on the couch and read books and use our laptops as well for any work that we're doing. On the shelves here, that's actually all our adult books there, and we do have our read aloud that's popped up there. We are reading Charlotte's Web at the moment. And then also down here we've got this cute little vintage desk. This desk actually came out of the school that my husband was a student at, and that his mum worked at, and that I worked at, so that's just a cool piece of little memorabilia for us. But in there's actually all of the kids' free colouring in stuff, their texters, their colouring in books, and so that's where we store all of that, and they will sit there and do some colouring in. And then at the other end of the room is our homeschool space. So this area used to be just the children's play area, and we just had all their toys stored down there, but I've actually moved all the toys out and they're located in a different place in our house, and this is where all of our homeschool stuff is. And I try to keep it really neutrally decorated and kind of decorated like the rest of our house, because as I said, this is actually in our lounge room. This is the only lounge room space that we have in our house, and we spend all of our days in here. So I didn't want this to look too much like a classroom. I actually just wanted it to fit in with the rest of the house's scheme. So we do most of our schoolwork at this table, and this is just a dining room table that my wonderful sister gifted to us. It was her old table and she gave it to us, and it has been absolutely perfect. We just have chairs from IKEA, and my other wonderful sister, she also gave us these chairs as well that I think she just purchased from IKEA. And it's kind of like a booster seat. So my 3-year-old sits on that one, and it just, it's high, as you can see, it's higher. Let's see if I can get down there. It's higher than the dining room chairs. So that makes him be able to sit higher up at the table. And it's just really good for him writing, because he's up further at the table, and because normally when he sits on the dining room chair, it just his chin reaches the table. So on that chair he sits up much higher, and he can work with us at the table. So he's 3, nearly 4, but he's really short, so those chairs really work, and they have lots of different styles of those chairs at IKEA. And then just sitting on our table here, this is just our school supplies basket. So this has got a chalkboard label on it. This basket was just, I think, $5 from Kmart. Pretty much all of our stuff comes from Kmart here in Australia. They're really rad, so we shop there all the time. And in our little caddy, we just have everything that we need during the day. So we have, we do lots of watercolor. So we have 3 different watercolor palettes there, and then just paintbrushes and waterproof markers and brush pens. We've got scissors and glue, pencils and a little ruler, and then just some coloring in pencils. And there, honestly, that is all the supplies that we actually need during our homeschool day. We're a pretty minimalist family, and we don't have too much stuff, but we're finding that this is actually all we need. This is where most of our homeschool supplies are actually stored. So I'll start at the top. So here in the middle here, I have this world map that I actually bought from Hobby Lobby. Now Hobby Lobby is a store in the States. Unfortunately, they're not here in Australia, but I picked that up from Hobby Lobby when I was in California last year, and I absolutely love it. It's my favourite piece in the room. And then either side of my map, I have these 2 chalkboards. These are just, if you live in Western Australia, these chalkboards I just picked up from my local Red Dot store, and they were pretty inexpensive. I think they were $15 to $18. And so I have 2. This side here is Emily's side, and she just has her sight words up there. And then the other one I use for my son. There's nothing written on there at the moment, but the same, just pop words up there, Bible verses, a to-do list, all those kind of things we use those chalkboards for. And then down below, I think every house in the world probably has these shelves. These shelves are just from IKEA, and there's 2 there on their side. And I've just bought the door inserts for across the top, and then down below I have just storage boxes. And if you're from Australia, these storage boxes are actually just black boxes. I'll just show you this one. And I got these from Bunnings, and they're only $5 each. And you can get lots and lots of different colours. On top of my shelves here down this end, we have our curiosity cabinet. And this is just a cool little vintage suitcase. This suitcase actually belonged to my mum. And she is a part of the Red Cross, and she used to keep all of her Red Cross papers and important information in this little suitcase. And you can even see here the sticker is still there, Rockingham Red Cross. She was the treasurer. And so she passed that down to me. And in here, we just have all of the things that my children have collected from our walks, our trips out, all that kind of stuff. So we have feathers, we have just random little rocks that they've picked up along the way. We've got starfish and lots of seashells. And I actually have a massive seashell collection because my grandparents were actually lighthouse keepers up and down the coast of Western Australia, and they collected seashells from their time of doing that, and they've just been passed down through the generations, and now I have them. So we're super lucky. This is actually just, not even a quarter of my collection. I have so much. But there's sticks in there as well, and I've also just got some little magnifying glasses. So anytime they pick something up, they bring it home and pop it into our cabinet. And next to our curiosity cabinet, I just have another one of these chalkboard label baskets from Kmart. And in there we have just a whole pile of chalkboards, and I've got some whiteboards as well, and just a larger chalkboard there. We use these chalkboards to do any writing that we don't want to keep. So I'll write words on there that Emily would like to know how to spell. We'll pop a Bible verse on there that they're going to do copy work from. I put their chore lists on there, all sorts of things. And Cruz will do drawing on there too. So it's just great to have that. So I don't like to use too much paper, so they've been much better. And again, I just picked these chalkboards up. They were just a couple of dollars each from just one of my local we call them like $2 shops. They usually have all sorts of weird and wonderful names, and that's where I got my collection of chalkboards from. And then in here we just have some dusters for the chalkboards and the whiteboards. And then again from Kmart, I just have these stacking wooden boxes. I think they're about $2 each from Kmart, and they come in all different sizes. And I've got 3 in there, and they're great because they stack up really cutely in there. I just have Cruz's crayons, I've got whiteboard markers, and then I've got chalk in there as well, and they just all stack neatly in there. Then we've just got some other bits and pieces, just a basket of animals, which Cruz loves to play with, and his blocks. And usually I just pop things up here that I don't want my little guy to pinch out of the cupboards and mess up. So for instance, I've got a thing of letters here that we use for spelling, and it didn't come with a lid, so I just put it up here so it's out of reach. Nothing fancy. And then just Emily's Good and the Beautiful readers that I don't want messed up. So that's why they're kind of just sitting up there. And then we also have this wooden stand. Again, can you guess where it's from? Yes, you got it right. Kmart. Kmart Australia is killing it these days. It's just a wooden, I actually think it's a wooden iPad stand, and we use that just to pop and display books on. We'll put it on the table if the children are working from a book that they're looking at pictures or writing words out of. And at the moment I've used this to display Emily's work. So I don't have a lot of like drawings or work hanging around their homeschool room, because all of our work is done in these little books and kept together. So I don't want to tear the pages out. So every now and then I will just display their work on there, just on that little stand. And that stand's also really good to put next to their computer if they're working on their computing program or a typing program as well. So that was, I think, I don't know, about $10 just from Kmart. So all of our homeschool books, curriculum, board games, a few craft supplies, they are all located in these cupboards and in these bins. So each of my children have a cupboard each that holds all of their things in. So originally I bought my children these binders. I think they were just from Big W, and we were keeping all of their schoolwork that they were doing in the files. But what I found with these is that they were just too bulky and too clumsy for my kids to get in and out of the cupboard, and it just wasn't working for us. So what we decided to do was go with these notebooks. So I showed you one that was on display of Emily's. So they just have a couple of these notebooks. Again, these are from Kmart, and they come in 2 different sizes. So she's got another one in here. We already had this book before we started homeschool, and this is just her painting and drawing book that she would grab if she wanted to do some artwork. So there is 2 sizes, if I can show you there. So this is the A4 size. So they each have one of these for free drawing, and they have 3 of these this size notebook. They have one that has ruled lines in the book, and then they also have these ones which is just like a sketchbook, and they have one that they use for their Bible journaling, which is this one, and then they have another one which I showed a view of Emily's before that they use for other subjects. Now I don't divide my subjects up and keep it separate. We just use one page after another. We just turn to the next page. I don't care that history is mixed in with geography or with their writing from English or even their German lessons. I'm not fussy about that. So they have one of these for Bible journaling, and then another one and a lined one for all of their schoolwork. And then those books are just kept in this magazine holder. They each have one of those, and that's actually a plastic one, again from Kmart. I think it was about $4. And so everything that they need pretty much is sitting in here. So these files here contain math sheets and extra sheets, but Emily doesn't need to grab that file. I have taken a section, so we do mathematics for maths, and I'd have taken a section, so she's been working on numbers, so I've just taken a section of the sheets out from this file, and I just put a clip on it, and then that just sits in her magazine holder, and she just needs to grab it in and out of there. So in here she has her little books, she has her math sheets, and then we use the Good and the Beautiful reader, the Good and the Beautiful nature notebook, and she has a handwriting that she does there sometimes. Again, these are just extra sheets that she doesn't need to worry about. That's her free drawing book. We have her McGuffey reader in there, and she also has her Bible and her worship flag. And that's William. Again, he has some binders there that has all these sheets collected in, but he doesn't need to touch them. He just has them sectioned off in here. He doesn't have as much as Emily. He just has his nature notebook, his math sheets, and then his 3 books there. One for Bible journaling, one for art notebooking, and one for writing. And then he just has his reading from the Action Bible in there. Then Cruzy has a cupboard too. He is 3 turning 4, and so here in Western Australia, when you're that age, you go to what we call kindergarten. And that is not compulsory. It's only a couple of days a week, but you actually don't have to enroll in kindergarten. But we just keep all of his things that he's using in here. And I'll do a separate video for what we're actually doing for kindergarten. But that's his cupboard. He knows to go and grab all of his things from there. And then I just have my cupboard in here, which just has some of the books that we're working on, my daily planner. These are some German resources, and then yeah, all of the other kind of things that we're working on is just in my cupboard. Then these other cupboards just house all of our books. We have lots and lots of storybooks and information books. As I said, we do try and tend to be on the minimalist side, but something that I'm not minimalist about is our books. Good quality books, I think, is an absolute must, so I don't mind having lots of those. So they're just stored in the cupboards for the kids to access. We have things like board games and our sewing supplies located in here. And these are the rest of our homeschool supplies. As I said, I had a caddy sitting on the table, and these are just some other things that we use. We have a little jar of seashells that we use as our math counters. And we have some other manipulators here like letters, and that's magnetic letters there. And then we have just some watercolor pencils, a ruler. Emily just got those pencils for her birthday there in there. We have a box of stickers, you know, hole punch, and that's pretty much all we use. As I said, we do a lot of watercolor painting. I do have a collection of other like poster paints that I had already before we started homeschooling, but I don't really use anything but the watercolors now. That's pretty much all we use. So, as I said, this is, sorry, am I making you dizzy with my camera work? So all in these shelves now, this is all homeschool stuff. And I moved all of the toys out of here so that my little boys weren't confused of what they could touch and what they couldn't touch. So they now know that these are books that they can access and all the homeschool supplies that they're not allowed to touch. And the same when children come over, it was a little bit confusing for them. So we've moved all the toys to another location that they can access. And then this is just all known as, this is our homeschool area. But I do have a few baskets of toys just down here in this area that my little guys will play with on the rug here while we are doing schoolwork. Up here on our window ledge, I've just utilised it as a bit of a book display. So on here we will just keep library books up here that we are using at the moment, or subjects that we're working on. I'll just pop some books up there and the kids can just know to access them. And actually Cruz, he gets these books down all the time and reads those. So just utilised that window shelf, and we just have a chair here that they can sit in and read, or we can sit in together and read a book. And I do just have this cute little, this is actually a wooden calendar, but it's magnetic, and so it just arrived the other day, so the children can do, especially my little ones, can just learning the day of the week, seasons, the day, and all that kind of stuff. Now the company I got that from, I don't have any problem with the actual product. Like, it's really, really well made, but what it took to actually get this product to me was an absolute kerfuffle. So I wasn't really happy with their service. Their product is excellent, but basically all I did was just Google, you know, calendar, and just kind of found the best one that popped up. But I was at Big W the other day and noticed that they had one that was very, very similar in their school section. So if you would like one of those, I encourage you to go and check out Big W. At this end of the room, we have our computer table, and we also have a TV here as well. I'll just explain. So down the other end of the room, down that end, we do have a TV that the family uses, and I have popped this one too. I've got a 10-and-a-half-year-old, and he loves to play Xbox, and this is our only lounge room. So this is the only space that he has to do that. We don't like having computers or TVs locked away in the kids' rooms. We like them out where we can all be together and see what they're doing. So we have the TV here so that he can play Xbox, and when his friends can come over, they can play here in the lounge room. And then we just have our computer desk here that my 10-and-a-half-year-old, he uses at the most. And then we have a laptop that Emily will use. And next to that, I just have this cute little table and chairs. Again, one of my amazing sisters gave that to me. I think she got it from IKEA, but they don't sell them anymore. But it's super cute, and my two little guys will sit there. They'll have, you know, snacks there. They'll play puzzles there and play there. So that's just a cute little space for them. And then above there, I have a pin-up board. Again, I just got this, I think, from Red Dot, but you can get them from Kmart, and I think I saw them at the Reject Shop this same size, and I think that was about $15. And we use our pin-up board for our vocabulary words that we are using in science, and at the moment we are doing marine biology. So these are all our vocabulary words, and as we read them and come across them in our unit, then we pin them up there. As I said, I don't have too much of the children's work hanging around in the room because all of their work is in those notebooks. And also this is our house. I didn't want it to look like a classroom, so that's kind of why I don't have too much stuff hanging around. Just a little bit of display there I think is great. So there you have it. That was a little look inside our homeschool room. It's nothing flashy, but we absolutely love it. And when I was putting the homeschool room together, I had so much fun doing that. But when I was putting it together, it was really important that it just felt like an extension of our home. So I really wanted it kind of decorated in the same theme as the rest of my home was, because I didn't want people to feel like when they were coming into my home that they were walking into somebody's classroom with bright coloured posters all over the wall and pictures hanging everywhere, and I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's just not my style, and so that's why I really wanted it just to be kind of decorated in the same colour as the rest of our house. So it just looked like an extension of our home. It is super simple, fuss-free. At the end of the day, all of our homeschool books and things get packed away into the cupboards and into the little black boxes, and it just turns back into our regular old living room. At the moment, I've really only got 2 children who are doing homeschool, which is my 10-year-old and my 5-year-old, and I still have 2 more children to kind of come up into school age. So our homeschool space might change as the kids kind of change. At the moment, my 2 kids obviously already know how to write. Emily knows her letters, her numbers and all that kind of stuff, so I don't need those kind of displayed on the wall. But as my little guys start to learn numbers and learn the alphabet, then I might need to display an alphabet chart somewhere or a numbers chart somewhere, so the room will just kind of grow and develop as our children grow and develop through their schooling years. So if you have any questions about any of the products that I had or the books that we have, please comment below. I would love to start a conversation with you. And if you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching our video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.